everyone, I'm Faith from Up and Up. Today we're going to take you through an introduction to graffiti workshop. We thought what we'd do is show you some street art and graffiti in the beautiful town of Newcastle. So we're starting here in front of the Charlestown Reservoir.
Thanks, Faith. Hi, I'm Shane, and I'm also going to take you on this journey today around Newcastle and show you a few things about graffiti and street art that you mightn't have known before. So come and join us.
There's many different types of street art, urban art, graffiti art all around Newcastle. At the moment we're in Derby Street in quite a prominent alley next to Goldberg's Cafe. And there's a number of different examples of street art and graffiti art that I can show you here. For example, this particular wall was painted by two local artists. The owners of this building gave them permission and they were able to just do their own style. But you can see they kept within the space and there's people drinking coffee and lots of bright colours. The other example in this alleyway is this particular piece here, and the artists in this case were commissioned by Derby Street businesses. And there's a little bit more. The final example that I want to talk about in this particular space is this artwork here of the Pride flag. This particular piece was painted around the same time as Australia was having the debate about marriage equality. So you can see that street art and urban art is often used for people to spread messages of hope in the community. To you from Tyers Hill now, and I wanted to talk about this particular artwork because it does a couple of things. The first thing is it's interactive. I've become a part of the butterfly, but also it has a strong message to the community. As many of you might be aware, urban art, street art, graffiti art hasn't always had a great reputation, but increasingly over the last 20 years, graffiti and street art is being used by corporations to send messages. For example, Hunter Water is Precious is a message that they're trying to portray to the community, and they've done it using street art. Graffiti is known as a temporary art form, but that's not always the case. This particular piece has been here since 1999. Hey, I wanted to bring you to this particular space in Hamilton because it's a great example of a combination between graffiti art style and street art style. This particular section of the wall was painted by an Indigenous artist, and she used paintbrush and spray paint as her medium. You can see on this side, it's more traditional graffiti style, which is about letters.
Thanks, Faith. When you talk about graffiti, all you need is yourself and a can. Why? Because when you're talking about graffiti, it's about the letter. And I know we've said that a few times throughout this little segment, but it's most important. Graffiti is about the letter and the way you have style and manipulate that. This is a great example of graffiti and its essence. It's got a lot of fun. Style is in the house. I love how you can see the proportion of thin to thick. It's about weight and the way you balance each letter. One handy tip with graffiti is, look at the gaps. Your letters should be touching, like here and here, and overlapping and almost sharing that same space. When you're talking about graffiti, you're talking about the letter. Here is a great example of two forms coming together of street art and graffiti. This, to me, is graffiti. You've got this block letter with the big 3D chunky coming out the background to make it jump off the wall. But if you come over here as look as well, what we have here is like a font that you probably find on your computer or otherwise. And what they've done is they've used all the techniques of graffiti and brought it into its frame. I'm not sure if you call this street art, but I like the idea of what it's doing together. Another thing that can complement letters is characters. As you can see, this fella here, hanging over the top, he's actually wedged in behind the piece to actually give it a sense that he's coming up beyond. And the thing about complementing with characters is that you get a different feel, a different dimension. Is this graffiti? I believe it is. This looks like someone I might know. Could be mistaken.
Hi everyone, welcome back.
We're in the library. We're at
Newcastle.
Of course.
And in this section of the workshop, Shane's going to demonstrate to you some different skills and techniques for you to start drawing your own letters and turning them into some funky graffiti style artworks.
The good thing about doing outlines is that you get to use pen and paper. I'm going to take the opportunity to show you a few letters in a basic form and then something that gives you a little bit more flex and a little bit more funk. If I were to say look in shapes first, that's the best thing to do with lettering. You can see the shapes and the letters starting to come together. So graffiti is about, before it gets to the letter, it's about concentrating on seeing shapes. You'll see triangles, you'll see rectangles. But you watch it pop out again as we start to do the 3D. Can be a little bit tricky with the 3D, but I'm going to keep it simple. So if a light source is actually coming from up this way, and then it'll cast a shadow opposite. To think about this line here is actually your light source. The arrow is just to show you which way it is to go. So this here will then go to here, here. So as the sun hits it, it casts a shadow. Graffiti's about the letter. So what you've done is you've taken, you pushed, you funked, you bent that letter to make it yours. With this, what we've done as we started to push and bend these letters, you can still see there's rectangles, but they've just taken on a little bit different shape. So as I've gotten more confident with doing my letters, what I found is that you can start bend and you can put these little serifs, these little bits on, and that's what makes graffiti. Drips, bubbles, little bits that come off, and little shares. Put the light source coming down from the 3D and we just put it off to the bottom right hand side, just on an angle a bit. What that does is actually gives a feeling that the letters are actually moving. Right now, we're on the next step. You'll see a bit of sketching, but more importantly, we're going to head outside and paint.
There's a couple of things that I'd like to talk about. You need to be aware that you have to be 18 years old to buy spray paint. So if you're interested in learning about and practicing graffiti art with aerosol cans and spray cans, it's important that you do it in a supervised environment, like an up and up workshop, or you need to ask your parents' permission. The second thing we need to talk about is permission. As you might be aware, there is graffiti vandalism that does occur. The difference between graffiti vandalism and graffiti art is that graffiti artists always have permission to paint where they paint. Right now we're about to start painting out the front of the Newcastle Library, and we have permission from the City of Newcastle and the Newcastle Library to do so. The other thing that's important is safety. Whenever you're spray painting or you're close by spray paint, it's important that you wear a mask, as you could see Shane was.
I'm not hidden away from yesterday. No need to blame, so I break away to meet first light of day. Nature decorates an impressive display. I feel array. I say goodbye to my life mistakes. It takes my grateful embrace. I take a turn for the better on the eager minor state. Well-being being matched, cause I know all is great. Yes.
No one else does believe you can do it.
Yeah. Take my foot off the brake. Tying up loose ends with my fisherman's blend. Breaking bread with friends, my offer I extend. Living in the background, peeping from the back end. Appreciate the front end, even in a traffic jam. Wild like a yam, in terms I understand. Gotta be me, be me, who I am.
The world's gone crazy. I can see the future all depends on the positive movement. I can see clearly now. The world's gone crazy. I can see the future all depends on the positive movement.
It's a limited surface, I know the purpose. No need for your poppy trends. I can see sometimes it's hard to comprehend how to live my life in the way it was meant.